Welcome to Light Her Up, your go-to podcast for exploring what it means to align with your passions and create a life filled with freedom, ease, and fulfillment. I'm your host, Natalie Bernacchi, a mom, entrepreneur, and certified coach who left a 15-year corporate career to build a life aligned with my passions and help other women do the same. We'll be diving deep into topics like self-discovery, mindset shifts, and the courage to pursue the life you've always dreamed of. Thank you for being here and for prioritizing yourself. I'm honored to be a part of your journey. If you're ready to find your joy, reclaim your identity, and upgrade your life, you're in the right place. Now let's light it up. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the Light Her Up podcast. Today is going to be a little bit more personal and a little less businessy. I'll be talking about my experience in motherhood and traveling as a family with our two young kids. I personally love traveling, and I didn't want to stop once I had kids. And I still do prioritize traveling and try to get a good blend of family vacations, vacations with just my husband, and vacations with my friends. And if you're a mom, you know that traveling with kids can sometimes get a bad rep. But if you set yourself up for success and go into it with the right mindset, it can be amazing and create core memories for the entire family. So this is for you if you've ever felt overwhelmed just thinking about a family vacation, if you crave experiences with your kids, but you want them to feel expansive and not exhausting. And in today's conversations, we're going to be diving into why I intentionally didn't travel this year, what I've learned about creating space and rhythm in family travel, and real tips and mindsets for making travel with kids feel doable and joyful. So let's get into it. Now, before we dive into today's episode, applications are officially open for the Rocket Ship Mastermind. This is a high-level space for women who are ready to build or scale a business that supports their lives, not consumes them. A space where your vision isn't too much, it's the standard, where you stop chasing someone else's version of success and start creating one that actually feels like yours, where you can finally say the quiet parts out loud, what's not working, what you secretly want, what you're tired of pretending to love, and be met with strategy, support, and women who will lovingly stretch you into your next level. Where your full life doesn't disqualify your ambition, it amplifies it. This space was built for you. Inside this space, strategy meets self-trust. Momentum is rooted in alignment, not urgency. And your next level version isn't just visualized, it's actually lived. With both in-person and virtual options, this next round of the 2-time sold-out mastermind is shaping up to be our most powerful yet. The application link is in the show notes, and apply now and get ready to launch into your next level. Can't wait to see you on board. Okay, so let's get into it. In this season of my life, I've been really intentional with my time. Last year, we traveled so much. We were literally gone more than we were home. It was amazing, full of experiences and adventure, but we were just tapped out energetically. I missed home. I missed the beach. And it's wild because that's why we live at the beach. We basically missed the entire summer here. And that was just a huge realization for me. So this year, I made the decision to stay grounded, like literally on the ground here in California at home. I knew this would be a big foundational year for my business, and I wanted to give it my whole energy. I also wanted to reset our rhythm and not feel like we were always chasing the next trip. And don't get me wrong, I still get the itch, especially when I scroll Instagram and I see everyone in Europe or in South America or doing something epic. I feel that need, and I remind myself that this season is a season of pause and it's on purpose. And I want to travel again, but I want it to be in such alignment. I don't want it to be reactive. I don't want it to be rushed, and definitely not out of FOMO. And now it's July and we are back on the road, or I guess back in the air in the best way. We're spending most of the month out of town with a big portion of it on the East Coast visiting my family in New Jersey. I was born in New York City and I grew up just outside of New York City, like right between the George Washington Bridge and the Lincoln Tunnel. I'm from North Bergen, but most people don't know that name. So it's close to Hoboken and most people know that name. And then right after that, right when we come back, we're actually heading on a trip to Arizona in the dead of summer to celebrate my little sister's 21st birthday. And while I am not excited that the East Coast is currently getting hit with massive heat waves, and it will still likely be super hot when we get there, we do have a lot lined up, and I'm really excited about it. We're going to a Yankees game, and this is so special to me because I used to go to Yankees games growing up, and we went often, and I have so many memories from it. And this will be the kids' first one. Jax is mostly excited for Cracker Jacks because his name is in it. And we're going to see a Broadway show. We're seeing Aladdin. Maya is going to be obsessed. Not sure Jax will sit through the whole thing, but we're going to give it a try.
Cracker Jacks.
Okay, I have my son here. I'm batch recording podcast episodes, and you might hear him in a few of these episodes back to back, and it's because he's literally here in the podcast room with me while I'm recording podcasts. So he heard me talk about Cracker Jacks and wanted to pop in. Anyway, the Broadway show, yes, we're seeing Aladdin. It wouldn't be my first choice, but obviously with kids, I want to make sure that it's something that they're both going to be able to sit through. And with Jax, he's 6. We'll see how he does. Aladdin was one of my favorite movies as a kid, so it will definitely be nostalgic, and I'm excited to share about the experience with the kids after. Matt and I get to go on a date night in the city. My stepmom and my little sister are babysitting, so Matt and I can get dressed up, go out, and live it up. We're going to do a day trip to Philly. Maya, my daughter, has been on a full-blown history kick, and Matt has never been. And he's dying to try a real Philly cheesesteak. So this will be the best place to do the history stuff, and he'll be able to try a Philly cheesesteak. And then we're also going to be going to do some beach days down at the Jersey Shore with my mentor turned friend, Ashley Gordon. So I'm so grateful for her in my life, and I'm excited to catch up. And I'm also excited to just be at the beach when the East Coast is apparently on fire with this heat wave. And here's the thing. Longer trips give us room. So I just shared a bunch of stuff that we're doing, but we're not rushing. We're not cramming everything into a 3-day weekend and trying to force memories. We have a ton of space built in to breathe, to rest, and to let things unfold. And I found that building in spaciousness, especially with little kids, is the difference between surviving the trip and actually enjoying it. I will never forget the first trip that Matt and I took with our daughter, Maya. Maybe it wasn't the first, but it was one of the first because she was very, very little. We went to Hawaii, and Matt and I were like on a date night having dinner, and Maya was with us. And this dad with his toddler child was walking down the hallway, and he looked so frustrated. And he looked at us and he goes, "Vacations with kids are not a vacation, it's a trip." And like Matt and I looked at each other and we were like, oh my God, like he's so stressed out. Is that what our life is going to be like? So I definitely can see how like having a vacation with your kids, sometimes when you come back, you need a vacation from your vacation. But there are definitely ways to make it feel like a lot more fun and to make it feel not just like a trip, but to make it feel like an actual memorable vacation. So last year, we spent most of the summer in Mexico City, and honestly, it was one of the best trips we've ever done. Because we were there for so long, we treated it like home. We stayed at an Airbnb where we could cook meals, have a routine, still sneak in midweek adventures. We went out to eat a little more often than we would if we were at home in California, but we made it feel like home. And there was so much space to settle, explore, and just be. And we weren't forcing a million excursions. We weren't trying to entertain all day, every day. And because of that, we got to actually really enjoy the city, like the local the local eateries, the local things to do, the culture. The kids were happier, we were more present, and I left feeling really restored instead of just wiped out. That trip taught me so much about how I want our future family travel to feel. And I really want it to feel grounded and spacious and aligned with our energy. It truly helped shift my perspective about how to live, not just on vacation, but like in real life, to create more space and to just let things unfold how they will. So, here are some tips and things that I learned from my travel experience with the kids that I'll definitely be bringing with me on this trip and every trip going forward. So, make your trips spacious so you have time to settle into a place, even if it's temporary. Plan time to do nothing. Some of our best days come from having absolutely zero plans. Be strategic with your kids and screen time so it actually supports you. So even when the kids are begging us before we get on the plane to watch their iPads, we don't give in because we know that we'll need them to be extra invested when we are on the plane. I also love to pack a small surprise for the plane. I've done this literally every single time that we've traveled with the kids since they were born. Each time they get on a plane, they open up their backpack and there's like a little surprise in there. And it's like an activity or an arts and craft that they can do at their seat. It keeps them busy for a bit so that they're not on their iPad for the entire 6 hour flight. And this time I got Jax a Minecraft coloring book because he's obsessed with Minecraft and obsessed with coloring. And I got Maya this little book that has a bunch of like puzzle, Sudoku, crossword, a bunch of different activities, challenges, and such to keep her busy. And when they were really little, I would bring stickers and like let them put it on the window. Or there's like these little like bracelet making things, or just really anything that like keeps their mind focused on having to do an activity. Um, because it's less time on the iPad and then they don't get burned out during the trip. Also, making packing fun. So for me, packing used to be super, super stressful. And on this trip, I also don't want to have all of us bringing suitcases because we are going to be moving around quite a bit. And I don't want to be lugging 4 suitcases, 4 backpacks, all the things. So I made it a game to see who gets to share a suitcase with mommy. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but mommy is a big deal in our house. So they think it's fun to share a bag with mommy, and I'm not mad about it. Also, prioritizing snacks, early breakfasts, and backup food in case the restaurant is a flop. So even before the plane ride for this upcoming trip, we have to leave at like 3:30 a.m. in the morning the day we leave. So we'll get some breakfast prepared the night before that we know that they will like and bring it with us. This way, we don't have to worry about paying for overpriced food that they probably won't like at the airport or on the airplane. I can tell you, like, rookie mistake on many trips before was showing up at the airport with no food, like an actual meal. Sure, I have snacks and everything, but like no actual meal for the kids. And then you get there and like a bagel is like $15 and then they don't even end up liking the bagel that you bought. So definitely coming prepared with like a breakfast or a lunch or even dinner, depending on whatever time your flight is. So that trip to Mexico City and this entire year has reminded me that I don't have to cram every minute full to make it meaningful. We're building memories through what happens organically and not through it being rushed, and it feels really freaking good. So, for the mama who's listening and you're thinking, oh my God, it's so hard to travel with kids, it's exhausting, we need a vacation after the vacation, here's what you need to know. You do not have to force the magic. Let the magic happen because you made space for it. You're allowed to travel in a way that works for your family, and you don't have to do all the things. Plus, it will give you a reason to have to go back. Okay, now here's your challenge for this week, and it can even be something you do even if you're not traveling. I want you to plan one thing in your schedule that feels like a reset, not a task. This could look like a day where nothing is planned, just letting it flow, a long walk with no agenda, or even a moment to prep something that will help you feel grounded later, like snacks for travel or your suitcase packed early, or lay out your clothes the night before you have a big day for the next morning. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to feel good for you. So when you have your one thing in your schedule that feels like a reset, DM me at Natalie Bernacchi and let me know what you planned. I would love to know. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. It truly means the world and it helps more than you know. And thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you on the next episode. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Light Her Up. I hope you're feeling inspired and ready to take steps towards a life better than you ever dreamed. I see you, I hear you, and I'm so proud of you for showing up and prioritizing your journey. When you fill up your cup with love, you can pour so much more into the people and passions that matter to you most. If this episode resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you subscribed, left a review, and shared it with someone who could use a little extra light. For more, check out our weekly 5-minute meditations or connect with me on Instagram at The Light Within Collective. I'm sending you my love, and I'll catch you on the next episode.